Well, hello everybody, it's Jimmie at Stuart Arts. Yesterday I spent a half a day with the Treasure Coast Woodturners Guild up in Fort Pierce. I did another little sort of candid video on that. You might want to take a look at it. We really had a nice time out there and got to learn from some real masters yesterday. So it was excellent for newbies like me. And I had a glue up here in the shop. Actually, I've got a few of them here that I'm going to be turning, but I was anxious to get in here today to turn this little bowl. So my camera work is not especially good this time. I apologize for that. Anyway, here's how it went with this little guy. These are cutoffs from a millworks in Palm City here, and I get them out of their scrap bin. And so the mahogany is beautiful, but it really doesn't have any, character or lines in it or anything like that. So I thought I would add something to it here. So what I'm doing is I'm drilling holes in the blank, and I've got I went to a yard sale and I got a bunch of oak dowels from a woodworker, and so I've got quite a bit of this oak, and I thought what I would do is insert these oak dowels so that when I cut the bowl I'll have some nice little pattern to it. So I've got some that are going in radially here, and then I'm going to take some through the top, so it should produce an interesting effect. All right, I'll let the dowels is set up. I've cut them off here, and I'm going to just go ahead and face this and take it round, and then I'll put a mortise in the bottom here to interface with the G3 Nova chuck. I'm using my new carbide cutter here to rough out the shape of the ball, and I'll switch to knives once I've got the majority of the material removed. This isn't going well. I've got just a tremendous amount of tear out here around the end grain. Exposed the dowels. The dowels themselves are cutting nicely, but the mahogany, when you're doing the side scraping, it's good, but the end grain, boy, what a bunch of tear out I've got here. And I tried with the knives to cut this, and this little bit of unsupported material here just really gave up the ghost on me. So I'm gonna, what the heck, I'm gonna try a little epoxy and sawdust and see if I can't possibly recover this. Well, I'm not expecting much out of this, but what the heck, we'll give it a shot. Because if this doesn't do anything for me, then I'm going to have to just abandon this bowl and just move on. But what the heck, I've seen this done many times, and I never approve of it. All right, I've been to lunch, had some good Cuban food, brought some back from Augie. My epoxy is very nice and dry. Not feeling too good about this, but I am going to go ahead and turn this down. Well, here's where we ended up. I spent quite a bit of time on this, and I got it rough sanded, and I've got the epoxy repairs. There's one there. It's a little dark, but when I put the paste wax on here, this may essentially disappear. So we'll go ahead and wax this up. I'm going to finish sanding this, and I'll go ahead and put my wax on the outside of it, and then I'll flip it and hollow it out. If it doesn't turn out good, I'll just put screws and bolts in it. So wish me luck. And it is darkening this up as I knew it would, and can still see the imperfections, but it's reasonably well hidden. So I'm on the fence with this thing. I think this is a good technique, but I think I need to be doing an end turning on this. Have quite a ways to go on hollowing, but I'm probably 80% there. Got to take out about another ½ inch to the bottom here. But boy, here's a tool that I picked up, Treasure Coast Woodturners Guild meeting, and a gentleman was selling several of his tools, and I bought this Packard. I believe this is for hollowing and walls, and man, it really does a nice job of following the wall all the way down and then making that transition into the bottom. So this is a tool that I'm really going to enjoy using. I think I'm done here. Good. feels good. No major tool marks there. That's going to sand real nicely. And then I've got a nice flat bottom. So this is about the best hollowing I've done so far. All right, we're doing our second coat of wax on the inside. It's all sanded out. And this is I think the best interior I've done so far. I got pretty much all the tool marks out of it this time, and it feels really good. And the thickness is nice too on this thing. So in terms of the geometry of this, it came out, I think, the best of anything I've really done so far. It just hadn't have been for those tear outs on the outside, I think I'd have really had something here. But we'll go ahead and polish this up, and then we'll do a post-game critique. Well, it's not my best piece. Well, maybe it is my best piece, but it's still really imperfect. And I'll go ahead and sign it anyway. What the heck. All right, good enough. Well, I started off with one of these mahogany cutoffs that I'm always talking about here. They're already two pieces glued together. This is a cutoff from some type of a door. And so that's the blank that I used to turn this little ball here. So how did we do? Well, I think that technically this is the best bowl turn or canister turn I've done so far. You know, the form is pretty good. It feels good. There's really very little in the way of tool marks. The finish is nice. I used my new carbide tool to hollow this out. That really made pretty quick work out of this. But with this orientation of the grain on this, I had problems with tear out. You know, I like this idea of putting these dowels through the work. I think that really turned out interesting here. But on the end grain parts of the boards, I got this little bit of tear out, and I did repair that with the epoxy. And it's a little bit of a dark stain right there, just in a couple of places. But, you know, it bugs me that it's there nonetheless. But I think on balance, it was a good effort today. I'll put this thing on the bottom shelf. Well, this is Jimmie from Stuart Arts saying thanks for watching, and hope you'll leave me a comment and a like. And if you're not a subscriber yet, well, let's go ahead and push that subscribe button. I got a lot of videos coming out here. Got several blanks here, projects in the shop that I hope you'll find interesting.